everybody, what's up? Let's review Krisha. It's a drama film about a woman in her 60s who comes visiting her family at her sister's home on Thanksgiving Day. Now, allegedly, she hasn't really been around for the past decade or so due to her either abandoning her family or them shunning her out for some sort of unacceptable behavior. Now there seems to be an attempt from both sides for reconciliation, but of course those pesky demons from the past just might end up ruining everything all over again. So that's basically the plot. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, because it is. I mean, once you see the movie, you will probably realize that it is even simpler than you could have imagined. There are no hijinks here like in more comedic family get-together films. There is no mysterious undercurrent of secrecy in a film like The Invitation, for example, which is pretty similar to Krisha, and I mean that in the absolute best sense possible. There is, however, this very overwhelming undercurrent of discontent for reasons that are not exactly spoon-fed to you, but your mind pretty much can fill in the blanks. It is made pretty easy for you to figure out why is it that Krisha's relationship with her family is pretty much at rock bottom. And the fact that the film on the narrative level is very minimalist shouldn't really come as a surprise, because while initially this debut was intended by its writer-director to be a feature-length film, they just didn't have the experience or the resources to pull it off. So what they initially ended up with was a short film about 15 minutes in length, of one which I unfortunately can't find anywhere on the internet, but it does have a review on IMDb by a fellow filmmaker, actor, and short film festival organizer who is giving it pretty high praise, so there's that. The film is still relatively short, it's only 80 minutes long, and while allegedly 70% of the film was scripted, while as much as 30% of it was improvised, you would probably think that saying that this film is overstretched would be an understatement. Well, I'm absolutely thrilled to report to you that when this film was over, I was deeply moved, I was a complete emotional wreck, but still I would have wanted to see more. And keep in mind, I'm seeing this film for a second time, because the first time I saw it, I didn't have time to review it, so it having that same effect on me a second time as well is quite the achievement. This film's visual style is so refreshingly unconventional, I think it even borderlines on experimental. It probably doesn't, but it's so refreshing, it completely caught me off guard. I mean, it has everything. It has from long choreographed takes, some of them even lasting as long as 5 or 6 minutes. The very first sequence in this film, I'm certain, is a long uninterrupted take that at least lasts for 6 minutes. It's quite impressive. To some excellent suggestive editing, like shots combined together in a way that show you one thing but actually meaning another. To some excellent manipulation of sounds and shot compositions to draw you in and out of the main character's very delusional perspective. Man, this film has it all. It's like a cinephile's wet dream. The filmmaking aspects of this movie, man, I just can't praise them enough. They are so commendable. It's so interesting how the 3 acts of this film are so differently constructed from all points of view. Like the first act, it's probably the strangest one. It's the one I think in which we have the longest uninterrupted takes. We're just following Krisha around this house. It really creates this very, very claustrophobic and paranoid atmosphere, which it should, because that's exactly how Krisha is feeling at this moment. And the soundtrack, man, it's not really music, it's more like different noises. I don't really know what instrument or instruments can make those kind of noises, but it's the type of sound I imagine being made by, I don't know, like an army of spiders just crawling all over the walls of my room. Ugh, eerie. And the second and third acts are a lot more traditional, I would say. Already we have some slow motion, we have some more traditional music, especially in the second act. It's like there to suggest to you that, okay, we're in hell, that's for sure, but there might be a possibility that things might turn out okay. Maybe? And the aspect ratio changes during the film. I mean, wow, this is something really cool. This is something I really like. Xavier Dolan plays around with this sort of thing in his films every now and then. The first part of the film is in the traditional 16:9. The second part is in widescreen. And then the last part is in 4:3. It's basically the one I'm in. And this is something really allegorical. It's something very suggestive. It's very similar, like the way the music is used as well. Like in the beginning, we get the sense that we're seeing the big picture and everything's going to be okay, but by the end our vision is being narrowed down, and obviously this gives the sense that our hope is dwindling. Really cool stuff here. Of course, let's not just talk about the filmmaking aspects, let's also talk about something else. Is it fair for me to say that this actress, who in real life as well is also named Krisha, just after this one movie has become one of my favorite actresses of all time? Is that fair? Probably not, but she has. I mean, what she does in this movie is just absolutely, it's a very brutal and very heartbreaking performance. She basically plays this woman who probably has gone so far over the edge by this point that there is no possibility of her being able to come back. It's wow. All of the other performances as well are very good, and that's probably for a reason. I mean, just look at that. I mean, wonder why all of the characters' names correspond to the names of the people playing them? Well, it's because most of these people in this film are not actually actors. They're not exactly playing themselves, because this isn't exactly a biographical film, but they are playing a family, and they actually are a real family in real life. There are this writer-director's actual family members, and the chemistry is just spot on. You can tell, you can feel it, you know that these people have known each other all their lives. You can sense it, and it's pretty much perfect. It's perfect for a family drama to actually have a real family playing the family in the film. Of course, there are exceptions to this rule. I mean, most of the main characters in this film are actually portrayed by professional actors, Krisha and some other people, but her sister, for example, is not. She's not an actress at all, and she gives a powerhouse performance in this film. My God. Excellent stuff. So there you go. I mean, this film is awesome. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite films of this year. It's definitely in my top 3, and you should definitely watch it. It's probably going to be criminally underseen and underappreciated, but man, one of my favorites, personal favorites. Definitely recommend it. Thanks for watching my review as always, folks. I will see you later with other reviews. Until then, take care of yourselves, stay cool, stay awesome. Goodbye.